Welcome, goddesses, jefas, and queens, to another episode of Get It, Girl.
On today's show, we're going to talk about how to deal with emotionally unavailable partners.
On the couch, we're going to chat with Claudia Alvarado about her new show on LATV about the paranormal, what they don't tell us.
And Joanna Liao from the acclaimed Netflix movie Tall Girl 2 will also stop by.
So don't go anywhere because Get It, Girl is about to start. Navigating a relationship with someone who is emotionally unavailable can be deeply painful and damaging to your self-esteem. Ladies, I know I have, but have you ever been in a situation like that? And do you stick with it? Do you work through it? Or do you just say, peace?
I don't know. I think a lot of women, I would say majority, I don't want to speak for every woman, but I think the majority of us have probably experienced an emotionally unavailable man. And I think it's just because so many...
Or woman.
You're right. You're right. That's why I was going to get to that. It's like, if you've experienced an emotionally unavailable man, it's probably because you've also been one. I know me, having to grow up and mature, I mean, that's like the natural progress of growing. But the nice thing is, if you meet someone that's emotionally unavailable and you continue to meet the same person, you probably have to look in the mirror because you're drawing them, because your energy is probably vibrating at their same frequency. Not every time, because obviously there's going to be some toxic men out there. But a lot of times, if you keep meeting the same person, at least in my experience, I kept meeting the same emotionally unavailable guy, and I finally looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, wait a minute, Gia, you gotta check yourself. You're not really emotionally available at the time either. So that's just been my experience. But what about you guys?
I don't have that same point of view.
It's okay.
I think for me, it's have I had same patterns, and maybe I was, while I was 100% emotionally available, the person that I was constantly going after were broken men.
But why were you attracted to those broken men?
Because I wanted to heal them. Not because I wasn't, because emotionally unavailable means that you're not emotionally unavailable to open up, to feel, to give. What are you trying to fix in other people that it is for them to find and fix on their own, in their own journey? Why don't you instead attract and want a person that doesn't need the fixing? Why are you trying to save people?
A project.
Why are you trying why are you trying to help people mature when everybody goes through their own journey in their own time? So for me, it's like, it is checking yourself in the mirror, but for a different reason. Not because I was also the same way, but more because I was wanting
maybe not exactly the same way, but you were dealing with codependency, which somebody that hasn't dealt with their codependency tends to be emotionally unavailable, at least just in my experience that I've seen with friends.
I think what I said kind of sticks with it rather than like what you're telling me.
Well, you're saying that you were like trying to heal guys though, right?
No, I was saying that I was attracted to that, but I wasn't trying to heal them. But then I was wondering why we weren't connecting, because I was so emotionally available, down for commitment, very aware of my emotions, very aware of what I had my flaws in, and they were completely unaware and thinking it was okay. That's why I'm saying your situation was completely different than mine.
And you kept attracting the same guy? Is that what you were saying?
Same characteristics, different types of people. They could have been different cultures, they could have been different ages, different careers, but same characteristics. And I actually had a talk with my friend the other day, and she was like, oh, this guy did this thing, and I'm like, oh, just like the last one. She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, what is the same, like, what do they all have in common? She goes, they're all different. And I think it's realizing way deeper than the surface, they do all something have in common. Is it that they're ego driven? Is it that they're pride driven? Is it that they're emotionally unaware? And this is, when I said women earlier, I mean like if you're a same-sex partnership.
Yeah, same-sex partner.
But it's like, it's all really figuring out, they could look all different on the outside and come from different parts of the world.
There's a common denominator.
Yeah, what about you?
For me, I'm picky. I am so picky that it's helped me. I will say that it's helped me. I'm so picky, I'm so independent, and I'm so strong of a woman that it's really helped me with picking any partner that I've had in the past. That I will say this, I have my expectations, but as far as myself, what I'm gonna bring to the table. I'm not gonna be your mom, I'm not gonna be your therapist. You need to grow with me. It's not me growing past you or you growing past me. It's we're gonna grow together.
And what are your signs? What signs do you see, like, where you're like, okay,
they've all been different. The only common denominator, because I've really evaluated, I was like, I've been very lucky. I've had amazing partners, very lucky. And I will say the only common denominator I've had is they're all chocoholics, like addicted to chocolate. Chocolate, addicted, like super, like chocolate ice cream with hot fudge on top was like a normal thing. But I hate chocolate, so I think that was the only common denominator I had. But I definitely was. Listen, I'm living my life. You need to live your life. I am not your babysitter. I'm not your mom. But I will be your biggest supporter. I will be your cheerleader, and I want you to be my cheerleader. And it's never gonna be I want to outshine you or you want to outshine me. It's we're two people.
Yeah.
Like two trees growing, not one overshadowing the other.
What do you guys think characteristic-wise, what does an emotionally unavailable man look like? For maybe someone that hasn't experienced
it. I think it depends. It depends. They probably are committed phobe.
Okay, that's true.
But I think that it's kind of like emotionally unavailable could be because of so many reasons. It could be because of past traumas of relationships. It could be because they grew up not having parents together. It could be because they came out of a relationship and it traumatized them. It could be because they were always told to not feel. So if they start feeling anything, they're like, oh, what's going on? Like, run away. It could be because they feel too much and that scares them.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to put it in a box. I actually
There's different things, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading a book. I love Audible. Shout out to Audible. But I love Audible, and there's this book called The Amazing Development of a Man. And a woman talks about how she raised her son and how she was able to notice how he goes from a prince to a king older, and then also stories from men, because a woman can't really talk about a man. You're not a man,
Of course.
But she talks about how men say stories of how they actually feel and what they go through, and I think it's all that. It's so much comes from your upbringing, even if you don't realize it. Whether you grew up in the hood or you grew up in a very wealthy place, that does not mean that the fundamentals inside the household were shown to you.
Exactly. And like for sure, the commitment phobia. I think another thing that I see when a man's emotionally unavailable is he has addictions, maybe alcohol, maybe pornography or whatever it is. But I think that that's kind of another characteristic, at least that I've seen. But what do you think? Any other characteristics that you
I think Janina, for me, at least what I've seen, because I have a lot of male friends, not gonna name y'all, but I have seen emotionally unavailable, and it is the fear of commitment. It's either the grass is greener on the other side. It's there might be my perfect girl is out there. Their expectations are so high, and so no girl has met them. Or
what if I date this one, but then actually there's somebody better.
There's someone better. So that's their
still
fear.
think it goes back to what you said, the fear of commitment, though.
Yeah, the commitment.
That's still the.
So the fear of commitment is a big one, but I also see others where it's. They all either have had a really bad relationship with a female that it's now, you know what, I'm treading lightly. I am not going to get burned anymore, because let's be real, some of us women, sometimes we can be a little bit.
We burn, guys.
Think about it this way. What if the relationship that they had traumatic with a woman was their mom?
Yeah.
How
it always ends up
rooted
kind of
is that, right? Like if the mom didn't show them love, or if the mom did some shady stuff to the dad growing up, or whatever. Like, that's deep.
Yes, that is very
And I think
deep.
another characteristic, too, is if a guy cannot connect with his emotions. Like, I know with my fiance going through couples therapy, when the therapist will ask him, how are you feeling? How does that make you feel? He describes the situation versus saying, you know what, she made me feel hurt, she made me feel stressed. So emotionally unavailable men also just have not learned how to connect with their feelings. And this goes with the patriarchy society.
Our
men,
cultures.
yes,
Black,
machismo,
Latinos,
can't cry,
I feel
everything.
like Black, Latinos, and Asians, I want to say, we're all raised Asians. It's like medical school, you have a poker face all the time.
Yes.
Then Black and Latinos are like,
you're weak
you have
if you
feelings,
cry.
you're
Yes,
weak. You have to be a macho man,
Exactly.
like
which is evolving now. I think more and more men are talking about their feelings. They're starting to own it. They're starting to realize that vulnerability takes way more courage than pretending like everything is fine and I'm tough and I'm big. And so I think it's changing. Slowly it's changing.
Definitely. Well, we're running out of time, but when we come back, we're going to have an amazing guest join us.